once upon a time, long ago, in a small village named Urashima, there was a young fisherman, and his name was Taro. And he lived there with his mother. And the village was by the sea, and every day they could hear the sound of the waves. Sha, shabu, sha, shabu, sha, shabu. Well, Mother, I'm going off to fish now. I'll be home at the usual time. All right, son. Well, please be careful now, and don't come back too late. So Taro went off to fish, as he usually did, when suddenly he heard some children shouting, "Pokey, pokey, little tortoise, we're going to have some fun. Dilly-dally, shilly-shally, show us how you run." And drawing closer, Taro found a group of children teasing a little baby tortoise that they had just caught. "What's going on here? You shouldn't hurt that poor little thing. Let it go." "But we don't want to. This is so much fun." No matter what Taro said, the children would not listen. "Then why don't we do this? I'll give you some money, and if you give me the tortoise in exchange, we'll call it a good deal." "You really mean it?" "Sure." And after the children had run off in delight, Taro gently picked up the little baby tortoise and returned it to the sea. "Now be careful not to get caught." And the baby tortoise paddled happily off to sea as Taro watched with a smile. "Now, I'd better get busy and catch some fish, or my mother would be very angry with me." However, on that particular day, Taro did not catch one single fish. And looking out to sea, he began to think, I wonder what is far off beyond that big blue ocean. One day, I'd like to go and see for myself. And suddenly, he heard somebody calling his name. "Oh, oh, oh, oh." And it was a large sea tortoise. "Thank you for saving my little baby boy. And in appreciation, I'm going to take you to the dragon's palace." "What's that?" "Well, it's an extraordinary palace deep beneath the sea. And the princess is waiting for you there, Taro. So please climb onto my back, and off we will go." And suddenly, Taro finds himself sitting on the back of the mother tortoise. And they dove into the sea, and down, down, down they went. And you could hear the bubbles. And a seaweed forest swayed gracefully in the water. And deeper they went. And Taro was fascinated by the beautiful underwater scenery that he was seeing for the very first time in his life. And he lost all sense of time. "Look, Taro, there's the dragon's palace." And Taro could see something sparkling on the floor of the sea below him. It was a magnificent building. It was the dragon's palace, of course. And the tortoise headed straight for the palace, carrying that astonished young man on her back. And Taro was greeted by the beautiful princess. "Welcome, Taro, to the dragon's palace. I sent the tortoise to fetch you, for I've always wanted to meet someone as kind and gentle as you. And please stay here for as long as you wish." And saying this, the princess took Taro by the hand and led him through the gates. And upon entering the palace, you could hear that big gate open under the sea. And then the door shut behind them. And the first day passed as if he was in a dream, and then the second. And on the third day, the princess said to Taro, "Are you enjoying yourself? Please come into this room. I'd like to show you something." And when he opened the east window of the room that he went into, Taro heard the song of the nightingale. And there was a spring landscape that unfolded before him, and the mountains were hidden in mist, and the plum and the willow trees were blooming along with the cherry blossoms. The branches of the trees were all dressed in their spring greenery, and they swayed delicately in the breeze. And when the princess opened the south window, there was a beautiful summer landscape that could be seen. And there were lotus blossoms in the bright sunshine. And you could see them reflecting in a clear blue pond by lush green trees. And there were birds swimming peacefully in those sparkling waters. And when the princess opened the west window, Taro saw a scene from autumn. And there were mountains that were tinged with the brilliant red of the maple trees. And there were purple bellflowers blooming in a field of pampas grass. And there were wild chrysanthemums and camellias and azaleas that were all wet with dew. And what do you think the princess saw when Koto opened the north window? There were snowflakes just falling gently from a gray-colored sky. And he was looking at a scene from winter. And the mountains seemed to be covered with soft fluffs of cotton. And from inside of a house, almost buried in the snow, he could hear the sad sound of someone weaving on a loom. "Oh dear, my mother!" And Taro was suddenly reminded of his mother in the village that he had left behind. "I came to the dragon's palace without telling my mother where I was going, and she must be very worried about me by now." And as Taro began to think of home, he became very restless and very concerned. "I was hoping you could stay with me forever, but now that you've remembered your home and your village, I can't keep you away from your mother any longer." And with great sadness, the princess handed Taro a beautifully decorated box. And she said, "This box is a very special treasure of the dragon's palace, and I am giving it to you as a present. And if you want to see me again, you must make a promise that you will never, ever open it." And so Taro promised. And then he bid farewell, sayonara, they say in Japan, to the princess, and returned to his village of Urashima. But what do you think he found when he got there? In just 3 days' time, everything had changed. And houses were standing where none had ever stood before. And all the people he met were unfamiliar. And no matter where he looked, he couldn't find his own house. "Taro," you say, "who are you?" "Oh, there's no one from this village by that name." And the villagers looked at him in surprise as if he didn't belong there. What in the world has happened? Koto was so confused and he didn't know what to do. "Urashima Taro, did you say? Why, my great-grandfather told me about him." And Taro finally met an old man that had heard the name and had recognized it. "One day, about 300 years ago, a man named Taro suddenly disappeared from our village." And when he heard this, Taro realized what had happened in the dragon's palace at the bottom of the sea. One day down there was the same as 100 years up on earth. And during the 3 days, Taro had been in the dragon's so alone there and lonely on the beach. If this is a nightmare, I want to wake up. But the beautiful box the princess had given him lay before him as proof that he was not dreaming. I wonder what's inside this box. Taro was so sad and lonely that he had forgotten his promise to the princess, and he put his hand on the cover of the lid, and what do you think he did? Yes, he opened it, and a white puff of smoke suddenly enveloped him, and only one instant, Taro turned into a white-haired old man. The box had contained all those years that Koto had spent together with the princess, and he knew that he would never be able to see her again. And to Koto's ears, the sound of the gentle waves washing onto the shore seemed to be telling him of the princess's sorrow and grief. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Kind of reminds me of one of our American folk tales. You know the name of it? Good Family. Thanks a lot. Let's have another hand from the two.
Thank you. It was fun. The next piece is fun, like this story, because this the title is very, very unusual. They break. You need that. I need that. I need a break from practicing so intensively. This composition, this piece is composed by, believe or not, I played a very serious piece at the last of the first half. That was my teacher's composition, and this next Daybreak is the composition of his son. And his son, named Hikaru Sawari, when he was this small, he was taking Koto lesson from his father and mother as well. His mother is now my teacher. I still occasionally go back to Japan and take a lesson from her. Most of the parents are really excellent Koto player, and you have no choice, and you have no way to get out or escape. So he had taken a lesson when he was very small. But by the time he became a teenager, revenge time. So he stopped taking lessons and became a rock musician. Dyed his hair to blonde, and still he has a blonde hair. He's 40, I don't know, 43, 45, 40 something-ish year old now. But despite being a rock musician, older you get, more respectful to the parents. So he came back to the Koto world, but took all the ingredients he took I was struggling because I don't know. I started from the traditional school, and the same music on and on and on with a different kind of pattern, and that made me very difficult to go forward. But probably she has a very good teacher. So yeah, she